Hello everyone, this is author, motivational speaker, and dating coach Matthew C. Horne, and I'm bringing you a video tonight titled, The Voluntarily Invisible Black Woman in Dating. But before we go any further, always know my books and my videos in the dating space, they're inspired by my books, How to Get Beautiful Women and Everything Else You Want from Life, in addition to How to Be Appealing to Successful Black Men for Black Women. They're both available at my website, www.matthewchorne.com. Thank you to everyone who's been ordering. Your books are on the way. I'm shipping them out daily, and thank you. Please do not go to Amazon. My books are everywhere. They have global distribution. But go to my website, www.matthewchorne.com, and I can sign them for you, and I can get them to you faster. So order from my website. Thank you to my new subscribers. Thank you to everyone who's been engaging with me and pushing me up the algorithm. I appreciate you. So if you have any thoughts on my videos, I engage with virtually everyone. So continue to do that. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, because that helps me. Man, tonight I have one for you. I want to get through this as best I can, because there's so many nuances to this particular topic. The voluntarily invisible black woman in dating. I'm bringing you this video tonight because of a Instagram post from Washingtonian Probs on Instagram. There was a particular post that I came across. It was a woman who essentially said that black men in the DC area, like, it's trash dating, dealing with black men. They're gay, they're locked up, they're lying about children, they're not affluent, they're living at home with their parents, and it was just a bunch of BS, man. It was a bunch of BS. And this explains a lot of how black men are viewed in society, and how we're just literally viewed as castaways and people that you can just trample on and do whatever you want to do with. Just to park it right there. On this particular post, there was a black woman who articulated the language in her post, and then she had a meme of a black woman at like maybe a drive-through, and she says, "You all can keep the trash." So she eventually shitted on black men, said that we're out here seeding the earth, we're uneducated, we're just pieces of shit men. And then to cap it all off, she had the visual of the black woman at the drive-thru saying, "You can keep the trash." Now, if it was a black man doing this, his page would be taken down. Think about that. Think about how we're viewed in society. I just have to paint a picture before I go any further tonight. A black woman can just readily shit on us like it's nothing. But let the tables turn, and a black man talked about black women being single mothers and undateable and masculine, and then he had a visual at a drive-through of like, take the trash out. There's no way that would make it to mainstream, and that just shows how we're viewed in society, man. It was sickening to even see that this post made it to Instagram. But this is what Washingtonian Probs chose to post. And okay, here I am. Here I am, and I have something for you, okay? So this particular woman was complaining about the black men that she interacted with being the lower tier. And so right on cue, I commented, and I said that 54% of black men are single and childless. So that negates her about the majority of black men lying about children and trying to hide them and things like that. And then she says it's hard to find one that doesn't live at home with his parents, which is outrageous, because 60% of black men are in the middle class, meaning that the majority of us are doing very well for ourselves. We're productive, competitive, successful members of society. And this is why I have to bring a message like this, because this is the narrative, and the statistics disprove the narrative. But a lot of black women would rather hold on to the narrative than to face themselves and understand that and acknowledge that they've been unable to pair themselves with quality black men. It's a smokescreen. It's a flat out smokescreen. And then on top of that, here we are in Washington, D.C. Okay, I am from the D.C. metropolitan Virginia area, DMV, that's what they call it. This is the richest collection of black men in the United States. And if we're the second richest, we're the second richest to Atlanta or Georgia. But for years, Prince George's County, which is a suburb of Washington, D.C., led the nation in black affluence. So you have a woman in Washington, D.C., complaining about the men that she's choosing to interact with amongst the most affluent black men in the United States. Make that make sense. But this is how black women are voluntarily invisible in the dating space. Because let's introduce some more statistics, and then I'm going to just take it from there. 85% of men, black men who make over $100,000 a year, are married to black women. So that disproves that the more affluence that we acquire, that we're dating outside of our race. 85% can be looked at as 9 and 10. Okay, 75% of black men who make less than $100,000 a year are married to black women. So the less affluent the black man is, the more likely he is to marry outside of the race. And these were the statistics, and they're current, but these were the statistics when I wrote the book back in 2020, How to Be Appealing to Successful Black Men for Black Women. Those were the statistics that I based the entire book on. And so there is a collection of affluent and functional and self-sufficient black men, childless black men, for black women to choose from. But instead of acknowledging that, at every turn, they collectively take the opportunity to say that we are not what statistic proves that we actually are. The majority of us are childless, 54%. The majority of us are in the middle class. So you can throw all of that, these niggas ain't shit, they not making any money. The statistics disprove it. Oh, they out here just fucking everything, and you know, they're just seeding the earth and having children everywhere. Well, how do 54% of black men not having children fit within that narrative? And so that's where I'm going tonight. And I say the voluntarily invisible black woman in dating, because she would rather, collectively, okay, when you talk about these men who fit the statistics, the majority of black men doing well, the collective of black women would rather not acknowledge that man exists, because then you can't sit around amongst your girlfriends who are single as they can possibly be and say, oh, these black men ain't nothing. These black men just have a bunch of kids they're not taking care of. If you just acknowledge the statistics, then what that does is bring the lens back to you and makes you acknowledge that you are not visible to the type of man that you really want. And to be visible to the kind of man that you really want takes work. But instead of doing the work, you would rather hide behind the false narrative that black men are not doing anything out here in society except destroying it. We're out here just having kids and don't have any money and not doing anything with ourselves, when the statistics disprove that. But that's a smokescreen that allows the collective of unmarried black women to just keep moving food around the plate. Say, hey, it's not me. Keep moving that food around the plate. But the same food is on the plate, meaning your inability and your unwillingness to improve yourself to make yourself visible to the quality black man, which represents the majority of us. And some people would say that's delusional, but I don't believe in delusion. I believe it's manipulative. It's crazy, you know, when I do the interviews, you know, I'm on the podcast and black women are interviewing me, and I'm just meeting black women in everyday life and just online interactions, and right on cue, where are those men? Where are those men? And that's why I commented on the Instagram post, if you even want to check it out. I said, if you really valued these men and you thought that you could pair with them, you would go to where they are. All of these 6-figure black men in this area, and amongst the major cities across the United States, you would just go to where they are. Where do they hang out? But the problem is that you know you're invisible. You've accumulated baggage from lower tier and lower quality black men. And all you want to do is complain about the men that you chose to interact with because you never prepared yourself for the men that you really want. And it's a complete smokescreen. So you don't have to be invisible. That's why the title is The Voluntary Invisible Black Woman in Dating. Every day that you choose to not work on yourself and understand what the quality black man who is in large number is looking for, you remain voluntarily invisible. You don't have to be invisible, but your unwillingness to prepare for the man that you know exists pales in comparison to your desire to hide and act as if he doesn't exist. If 54% of black men are single and childless, no black woman should be having a conversation amongst her friends that these black men ain't nothing. They just have a bunch of kids they don't take care of, and they're not making any money. The statistics, you can't fight facts, data, and statistics. Shout out to the Godfather Kevin Samuels. You can't fight facts, data, and statistics. But you're only fighting yourself and your inability to pair with the quality men that you do know exist by trying to act as if they don't exist. You're only fighting yourself. And you're fighting a losing battle because 80% of all married black men are married to black women. We want you all. We look at you as the most beautiful creatures on the planet. But the treatment that we receive, no matter what we've accomplished, is what keeps us pulling ourselves back and choosing ourselves every time we meet a black woman that we're actually interested in. I saw something that I couldn't unsee. My book came out April 2nd, 2020, right after the lockdown. Let me show it again. How to Be Appealing to Successful Black Men for Black Women. This was a work of love that I wrote. It's the longest book I've ever written, 250 pages. I had a deadline I had to meet for a women's conference when I wrote this book. I stayed up till 9 in the morning. I had just written a book right before this for nights on end, not staying up writing through the night just so I could meet this deadline. And the event never happened because COVID came. But I wrote this. It was a labor of love. And I wrote it to bring solutions to the dismal marriage statistics that we were facing in the race. And my sentiment then and now is that we're better together. So why not take some time to learn what the quality black man is looking for? Everywhere else in your life, you value the degree, you value the houses, you value the cars, you value the jobs. If you ever fell short of something that you value as a black woman, you always found a way to acquire it. You always did the work. And when I say I saw something that I couldn't unsee, because I used to listen to Kevin Samuels, because he started talking to black women right when my book came out. So we were parallel. And all of my interviews that I had lined up at the radio stations, I was sitting right on my couch just like this doing those interviews. All the TV shows, radio stations, that's where I did the interviews. And I got to sit and see the sentiments that I was receiving from black women towards my message. And I was comparing them to the experiences that Kevin Samuels was having on his live broadcast that he did every night talking to black women. And Kevin Samuels said something that went over my head, but when I fully absorbed it, I wish I never saw it. Kevin Samuels said there's a low-level contempt for black men, and black women have their own race. And that went over my head. Kind of understood it, but went over my head, admittedly. And I had women in their 30s. I was in my 30s when I wrote this book. And I had black women, they weren't disrespectful. I give them credit, but they were calling me and they were saying, your book, the title took me aback. How to Be Appealing to Successful Black Men for Black Women. It just took me aback, meaning that they were saying it kind of rubbed them the wrong way. And my response was, if the book was titled "How to Be Appealing to Successful Black Men," how to be appealing to successful black women for black men, would you have a problem with it? And that's when every woman that called me got quiet. And they started dancing. And I was just like, well, look, I wrote the book. You actually got me on the phone. Let's have a real conversation. Like, answer the question. Every last one of them said no. And then I saw something that I could not unsee. If it's okay for the black man to prepare for you, but it's beneath you to prepare for the black man, there's only one culprit for that line of thought processes. I saw that black women collectively think that they're better than black men. It's okay for them to prepare for you, but it's beneath you. It rubs you the wrong way, the notion that you could actually prepare for the quality black men that are out here in large number. And I told God, I was like, man, I wish I never saw that. But I saw it for the reasons that I was supposed to see it. It's not for me to understand, it's just for me to communicate. And that's the problem that we have right now. That's why black women collectively are getting married at a 28% rate, ever married in their life. That's an epidemic. And that's why I wrote the book, How to Be Appealing to Successful Black Men for Black Women. I know we're better together. I'm not here to bash black women. I'm here to offer solutions. That's an epidemic. If 28, at the time I wrote the book back in 2020, 28% of black women were projected to ever get married. That's roughly 2 or 3 in 10. However you slice it, it's an epidemic. It's an epidemic. And of those 28% that get married, only 50% are going to make it past 5 years in marriage. So that roughly says that on the generous side, a black woman has a 14% chance of getting married and making it past 5 years. That is dismal, especially when we're so much better together. We're so much better when our children come out of a 2-parent household and they can see true black love amongst their mothers and fathers. That's an epidemic. And that's something problematic that I had to address tonight. You're going to remain voluntarily invisible to the quality black men who are out there, who represent suitable mates for you. You're going to remain voluntarily invisible until you learn to value the black men that are checking for you. You're going to remain invisible until you admit that even though you interacted with and paired with low quality black men, that there are a large majority who are the opposite of the men that you chose to interact with. And these black men who made it to a place of affluence and prominence and success in life, you can't take for granted that they value themselves. They're not looking for adoration, they're looking for reciprocity. Meaning that they're showing up to you mentally healthy, physically in shape, a lot of us, childless, the majority of us, and they're just looking for treatment, fair treatment. Whatever he's giving to you in terms of treatment and respect, that's all he wants in return. He's obviously attracted to you if he's in your space. But if you think you're better than him, no matter how successful that man is, you're going to find a way to try to poke some holes in him. And when you try to poke some holes in him, that's going to manifest in disrespect. And no self-respecting man is going to stick around for disrespect. And then what happens? He exits your space. No matter how you look, no matter how light your skin is, no matter how long your hair is, he exits your space. And I'm talking that real shit tonight, man. You want that fake shit? Go over to Derek Jackson's channel, man. He got plenty of fake shit that's going to keep you running in circles until you age out of the fucking game, man. You get real shit over here, man. He's going to exit your space. All the black man wants: desired, respected, valued, desired, respected. Those are your superpowers as a woman. But if you think the man is beneath you, it's impossible to value, desire, and respect that man. And as soon as he sees the imbalance in desire, value, and respect, he's gone. It's really that simple. It is that simple. And you will voluntarily remain invisible until you age out of the game and you're completely invisible. Every woman has a collective of black men. Every black woman has a collective of black men that are checking for her. And we can look at the balloon pop show. We can just see the delusion in terms of black women excluding and eliminating black men who represent a suitable mate. Oh, he's not 6 feet. Oh, he's this. Oh, I don't like his shirt. I don't like his shoes. His jeans are too tight. And you're the least married woman on the planet. Think about that. How is that boding well for you? How is that boding for you? It's not boding well. So until you learn to accept that good black men do exist in large number, that the majority of us are single and childless, until you learn to accept that, you're going to keep moving that food around the plate amongst your girlfriends. All y'all just going to keep moving food around the plate and acting as if we don't exist, when you know we do. The Bible says ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Until you acknowledge the truth of the actual dating pool that you have to choose from, you're going to remain single. And there's no other way around it. You don't have to be invisible to the quality black man. It's a voluntary act that keeps you invisible to the quality black man. And it's a value proposition. I already said the statistics. So the only way to acquire the quality black man is to show up in his space in a way that he knows he's valued, that there's reciprocation. That's as simple as that sounds. It's so difficult to find. I can't count how many of my childless, successful, six-figure black friends right here in DC who, I mean, they're dealing with girl after girl after girl. Because no matter how successful they are, these women find a way to pick them apart and see things that aren't even there because they've been unable to and unwilling to accept the reality of the magnitude of the man that is right in front of them. I believe that some black women, in order to actually pair yourself with a quality black man, you're going to have to acknowledge the hatred that you have for him. You're going to have to acknowledge the hatred that you have for him. What else could make you try to pick apart a man who's attractive, successful, the opposite of all the men you've dealt with? What else could make you try to pick this man apart and invalidate him? And he's shown up in a consistent and respectful manner. It's pure hatred. That's why Kevin Samuels says there's a low-level contempt for black men. And we're not going to accept putting up with the sins of the low-level men that you've dealt with. We're not going to accept it. And that's the problem. That's why black women, the collective, act as if we don't exist. Oh, where are they? You know, playing stupid and shit. We're not going to accept that because we know we exist. We know it. And the ball is in our court. And we're not out here acting like we this and we that. All we want is reciprocation. Man. It's something as simple as that. You know, black women say, oh, the man got to be 6'5", and he has to have this, and he got to drive this car. Just outrageous and stupid shit. And we're on the other side, marrying you at a pretty much 80% rate, asking for reciprocity. So the imbalance in the ask between black men and black women. Black men are asking for practical things, healthy things. Black women are collectively asking for outrageous things, like this builder nigga that doesn't exist. What's responsible for that? It's because you think you're better. Once again, Kevin Samuels says there's a low-level contempt for black men, and black women have their own race, man. That was powerful. Black women are separate. They're better. And no matter how that man shows up, That man can never do enough. It's a sickness. And you have to acknowledge the root of it. Go get some help, man. Go get some help. If you really want to be the ones that, you see in your timeline, these happy black couples getting together of various ages, not just young women. If you want to be amongst that pack, you have to learn to value that black man. And then you have to acknowledge that you're invisible to him because you're not calibrated to him. See, whatever you're calibrated to, that's what you can tolerate. Your tolerance doesn't necessarily just reveal your options, it reveals your essence. So if you have a low opinion of black men because you've consistently paired yourself with men like I described in the beginning of the video in the Washingtonian Probs post on Instagram, the ones who don't have any money, living at home, no education, lying about having a bunch of kids, that's not the majority. But if those are the men that you're complaining about them because they've been able to infiltrate your space long enough for you to feel some way about them. See, compatibility and matching is, you can't control who you encounter, you can only control who you let in. And so if you let in these low quality men enough to feel a way to complain about them, that means you are a safe space and a spiritual match for these men, and you need to accept it. You're a safe space and a spiritual match for these men. That's what you're congruent with, and that's what you're compatible with. If you were calibrated to a higher quality black man, when these low quality black men entered your space, you wouldn't have been able to tolerate them. They wouldn't have been able to stay, and you would have felt no way about them because you only had eyes and an essence for the elevated black man. So you remaining voluntarily invisible and acting as if the quality black man doesn't exist has nothing to do with us and everything to do with you. And until you accept that, you will not undertake the necessary journey to grow, to make yourself visible to the quality black man. We do exist. The statistics are not lying. But if you want to continue to lie to yourself so you and your girlfriends can feel good about your inability to pair yourself with a quality black man, then so be it. You will age out. So to remain invisible to the quality black man is a voluntary act. We're here waiting on you. We love the hell out you. Evidence in the numbers in which we marry you. 8 out of 10. You can't refute that. 80% of all married black men are married to black women. And you can try to throw in those statistics about how many black men are gay and all this other stuff. 6%. How many are incarcerated? Less than 1%. It's on you. And I don't care where you're at in life. It's only going to benefit you to improve and to calibrate yourself to the kind of man that you really want. And you know what kind of man you really want because you're complaining about the men that you don't want. But if you're complaining about the men that you don't want, that means you spent a significant amount of time with them. And until you accept that, keep moving that food around the plate. Just keep moving the food around the plate. Keep trying to be, acting stupid and acting like you're delusional, but, you're manipulative. You want to throw them off your scent. Oh, they don't exist. So they don't look at you and see that you're a low-quality woman who can't pair herself with a high-quality man. That's the reality of it. Don't have too much else to say. We're here. We want you. But if you want to remain voluntarily invisible, that is a you proposition. That's a you problem. There's plenty of quality black men out here who are waiting on you. And until you learn to value him, until you Learn to see him on level playing ground with you and not see yourself as better than him. Your reality is going to remain the same, but you have a choice. You heard this message? You have a choice. The men you've been dealing with, or the elevated, quality black men who are waiting on you and who choose you. This has been Matthew C. Horne, author, motivational speaker, and dating coach. Bring you a video tonight titled The Voluntarily Invisible Black Woman in Dating. It's been brought to you by my books, How to Get Beautiful Women and Everything Else You Want from Life, in addition to How to Be Appealing to Successful Black Men for Black Women. They're both available at my website, www.matthewchorne.com. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and to push me up the algorithm. And everyone who's been inquiring about me making videos, I'll say it again, I'm not making videos just based on your suggestions. Send a sizable donation to my donation information that is in the description, my PayPal and my Cash App. Send me $50 and up. I will make the video, and it will be done within 24 hours. I'm here for you all. Let's all grow together. And if you feel as if this message has made you better for having encountered it, my donation information is in the description. Send me something to keep these videos going as we enhance one another. If you know that you could benefit from coaching from someone like me, Matthew C. Horne, author, motivational speaker, and dating coach, email me at matt@matthewchorne.com. Give me your name, your phone number, and any issues that you're facing. I'll reply. We'll converse, and we'll get you on the road with coaching to your optimal outcomes in the dating space. I've enjoyed spending some time with you tonight. Don't quite know how this one's going to hit on the internet, but I spoke my truth, and I'll see you soon.